don't mind doing the calls. It's just like call on my peoples.
We'll get you more.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on page I guess 11 right now to get your head in the game. And so you're going to go down this funnel, right? And so if you had leads on your previous classes, and we're at appointments now, okay? We're going to be focusing on getting the seller's leads and getting the appointments from the sellers for listings, yeah? Okay, moving on to page 13. We are going to make it happen now, okay? So you have two things in your MyKW list. You're going to have the pre-listing, right, which you send out. Now remember, those are it's customizable, and you should do that ahead of time, right? And so you're going to take out some slides. You might edit some slides. They're fully editable and all that, okay?
And that's in MyKW.
Yeah, you know that MyKW with your little picture in the corner?
Yeah.
In that one.
And what's it?
Oh,
what's
sorry.
It
So you go to there, and then you're going to go to the market intranet, right? Within the intranet, they have, I think it's like near the top, they'll have the pre-listing packet, and then they'll have the listing presentation, okay? So the idea of the pre-listing packet, you're going to send out to them after you made the appointment, right? There's some questions in there for them and things like that. Most of the people won't do it, so you'll want to go over that maybe very briefly when you get there, right? And then you'll have the listing presentation when you actually go to the listing, okay? So you want to pre-qualify the letters to the sellers to understand their motivation, right? Why are they selling? What's their time frame like? You know? Positioning yourself as an expert, right? So you make sure you do a bio on that. Now, if you're brand new, you're not going to have a lot of stuff in there, right? But you may have had past sales experience or things like that, right? And basically what I like to do is just kind of a human interest piece on my bio, because you're trying to connect, right? Trying to connect with the person, so you put a whole bunch of stuff in there. And the National Association of Realtors stat for years have been that my realtor never listened to me. They're too busy talking about themselves. Well, what the realtor's trying to do is connect, right? So they're throwing all this stuff out there.
That's right.
Well, if you give them a little sheet of paper and they look at it, they're going to pick out the stuff that they like, right? Oh, yeah, I like surfing, and where do you go surfing? And then all of a sudden you get the bond, right? You're trying to bond with them. Trust is the number one thing in this real estate sales. If they trust you, they will spend millions of dollars with you. They don't care a lick what you know.
I've seen them written in first person and third person, and it just seems like it should be consistent. What do you think?
I go first person.
You go first
Yeah.
person?
We're going to talk about winning the listing. You're going to be in competition most times, right? To get the listing. And so how are you going to combat the other listing agents that are at the future appointments? Allow the price of the home to sell for the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time frame, right? You probably learned that in your pre-licensing course too, right? It still keeps coming back. Properly set the seller's expectations, right? In all aspects, not only selling the property, but communication with the seller, right? How you're going to do that? Are you going to, do they do texting? Do they do email even, right? Or are they only by the phone, or all combination of all of those? What you're trying to get is the best customer experience for them, right? So, pre-qualifying the seller, I'm still on page 13. When we're calling to set a listing appointment with the seller, you will confirm the important details, including the motivation. Pre-qualifying the seller will help you prepare the listing appointment and gives you insight into the mindset of the seller. What is their motivation, right? Because you will go back to that motivation many times, especially if it's overpriced. Because when you go back and talk to them about a price reduction, right, you're going to go back to their mindset and say, hey, remember you want to be closer to your grandkids, or remember you had to sell it because you're divorced, or whatever it is, right? And then it avoids you wasting time, right? Going there and they're not really wanting to sell, they're just lonely or whatever it is.
And what if they are just fishing? Do you just usually try to steer away from those?
Yeah, I mean, you'll show up, I mean, and you can kind of do it before you go through this whole thing, right? But it's usually a quick conversation for the listing, right? Maybe you meet them at a party. And it's like, oh, are you looking to buy or sell something? And they say, well, we're kind of thinking about selling, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're probably going to take that appointment, right? And then you're going to go talk to them and see what is their thought about selling, right? And the most times, sellers are pretty serious about selling when they say that. Buyers, on the other hand, right, want a tour guide sometimes, or just looking around, right? And then they have no clue on what the prices are. And as soon as you show them the prices, they're like, oh my God, right. But sellers are mostly, it's rare when they're just kind of
Even in a market like this,
wasting
when
your
it's
time.
a high market?
What do you mean?
Well, when things are selling at top of market price and there's little inventory, it just seems like there would be more people fishing, seeing what, they
To see what they can get?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, because we are, pretty much at the peak.
I called my uncle yesterday, and he was like, yeah, I mean, if I got the right offer, I'd sell my house, $850, house with a cottage in PA.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, yeah, let's test the market. Let's. I tried to get an appointment with him. He was like, yeah, but you can't. I don't want to show it to anybody, and I don't want to put a sign in front of it. How am I gonna sell
That's
it?
probably what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. So
In that case, yeah, you're not gonna waste your time with that.
yeah.
Right?
So I was like, you know what? Let me know when.
Yeah.
Right. So you gotta, that those kind of conversations will come up, and I think that's what you're talking about in those certain situations. So,
Yeah. Okay.
those could definitely be a waste of time. So just remember that you do have two presentations that are customizable, and you should customize them because actually right now the template has a woman's picture in there and their phone number, right? So you'll want to put your picture in there, changing phone numbers on a lot of areas. That's probably the majority of the changes that you'll do. And then you'll look at the slides, and if they don't apply, take them out or put your own stuff in there. That's the nice thing about it, right? And I feel that they're a bit long.
Way long.
Yeah, so you're gonna dump a bunch of stuff. I think they just put that in there so you have choices. And so you'll dump a bunch of the slides out of there.
And what do you think is primary in a listing presentation to make sure it includes?
What the market is doing in their area.
Okay.
Yeah. So the CMA, basically. What you're gonna do for them, right, as far as marketing. And then kind of what you can put the company stuff in there a little bit. They mostly don't care about it. It's mostly a you and them type of thing. But those are pretty much the main things that would be in there. There's other stuff you'll see in there, graphs and charts and stuff like that. Some people really like that, right? They're visual, so they'll do that. But definitely the CMA and what you're going to do for them, because that's what they'll ask you, right, on the commission. But what do I get for the 6%? Okay, moving on. Page 14 is the questionnaire, if you will, right? How did you hear about me? Where are you moving? So on and so forth.
Is this before the presentation?
Yeah, this is part of the pre-packaged deal.
Can this just be part of a conversation during the appointment?
Yeah.
Rather than,
Yeah, and when you get more seasoned, that's what a lot of the more seasoned agents will do. They have memorized these questions, right? And so they know those are the ones they have to ask. This is to help you as a new agent, so those questions are asked. And Keller Williams believes in their scripts, and I'm kind of a believer too. Now you're going to customize those scripts, right, a little bit, but you should learn them because there's a great video on this guy that's a seasoned Keller Williams agent, and he's still using the script, and they show him how he's trying to get a listing presentation. They should actually have it in this thing. Anyway, he just goes through each script. He gets objections. He got objections like 10 times and finally got the appointment to get there. And it was he just kept going through the script. Oh, that's great. And then he moved on to the next script. And then blah, blah, blah. It was kind of cool to see, that they actually worked in real life. Okay, so.
Think you could find us the link to that video?
Yes, I will definitely, because it was
Thank
really worth watching. I'll actually look for it. Maybe we'll take a little break and I can find it and pull it up.
Thank you.
Let's watch this video then.
Can I ask a question while
Sure.
you're looking? What did you hear about me? Is that just like a marketing question, so you know where the marketing came from?
Yeah, and if it's you know, if you just met them at the party, you know, so
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
This is develop your listing skills.
Seems like just doing as a checklist.
You how to develop your listing skills to a very high. Hi, my name is Gene Rivers, and I'm here today to tell you how to develop your listing skills to a very high level. And after you've done that, you'll be able to go in and take over market shares. Number one, the best source for listing leads is from your sphere of past
No, they're all
clients.
individual.
The fact is, the people you know the people that are going to be moving, whether it's at
I know, but
church,
I got
school,
that.
work, friends, relatives. Focus on making sure they understand you're in the listing business. Create a pre-listing package that you would give every seller, but rename it your guide to selling homes successfully in your market. And then give that to people in your database that you know have influence, that's collateral materials that they can give to their friends and refer you. Step two, focus on an area, product, or price range. When you develop mastery of a product or an area, you will much more quickly succeed in those areas. And in that area or in that product or price range, focus on the FISBOs in that area, the expires in that area, door knock in that area, geographic farm in that area, and I'm talking a fairly tight area, so that the people in that area will really, really identify with you as someone who can help them sell property for top dollar with low hassle in a short amount of time. Now we're at number three. Everyone today that's looking at hiring an agent, whether it's a referral, even a past client, or a stranger who's gotten your name somehow, they're going to check you out on the web. So you need to make sure that your website is competent, that you've got basic, powerful content in there, and specifically that on the landing page, the very opening page, there is a direct offering to a seller. Find out what your home is worth, get a guide to selling your home. But if you don't do that, you're going to miss opportunities, because people will get your name, check your website out, and go, I don't think so, I've seen a lot better sites. Fix your website with a database that you are working on a consistent basis, and with a tight focus. You build your reputation. If you're visible, you will find you will take over more and more listings, and in a very short amount of time, 12 to 24 months, you will own that market. That's how you take market share.
All right. Everybody, I know. Okay, so did they tell you to bring in a pre-listing packet with you today?
No,
Unless it was in some homework that we didn't read.
we don't have a pre-listing packet. I mean, we
Okay,
have.
it says.
I missed the last class.
Oh, okay. So it says you were asked to bring that. Anyway, we can wing that. No problem.
And where do we get the pre-listing packet? It's just in.
In the MyKW in the intranet?
Okay.
Are you in there?
I'm not.
I have one made, I think.
I'll get there.
No, I have one. I have my buyer's presentation.
Let me know when you get there.
Okay, I'm there now. So.
So go to the the intranet.
Okay.
It's online. Go to Market Center, and Office Tools, and then Documents down on the right hand.
Right here.
Yep. And you'll see, the
The buyer and listing presentation.
second one down, and then you'll go scroll down a little Listing presentation temp.
Pre-listing packet.
Guide to selling your home. That's what we're going to talk about right now. So it'll be all that grouping basically is what you're going to customize,
Okay.
and then it downloaded it to you down there.
Still down there. Terry, you want to just come sit by me?
To get started. Okay, so we're gonna go through this and then we'll watch that next video here, but. So we're gonna go through the guide to selling your home. It's all about you page. So read that if that's up. You have that up?
No, not yet.
That's on the mayor's presentation too, right?
The pre-listing. So, guide to selling your home?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so scroll through those. Yeah, it's all about you page. See those pictures and all
Yeah,
that?
So you
That's
just replace it with
application.
your own,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's easy to do.
Okay, so then it's all about you page.
Okay.
And then we'll go back to our manual, page 16. Take a couple minutes to read that. It's all about you real quick. Okay?
Oh, there it is.
So it's all about you. My real estate business is built around one guiding principle. It's all about you, all about them, right?
Yeah.
All about the seller. And I will help you by taking time to understand your wants, needs, and expectations, answering your questions, returning your phone calls and emails the same day, and being honest with you at all times. Why would that be important to the seller?
About being honest or all those things?
Oh, the whole number one.
Builds trust.
Right. And it sets you up, right, for communication, successful communication, right? Expectations are there. If you're not going to call them every day, right? Or you can't get back to them the same day, make sure that they know that, right? If you live out in the boonies and you know your phone doesn't work while you're out there, something like that, they need to know that, right? So they can expect that. Those sorts of things. Helping you obtain the highest possible price for your home in the shortest amount of time. What's that going towards? Why is that an important point to the seller?
What your marketing tools are and influence.
And coming up with a price, right? That's in the market, right? It's not some crazy price that they've dreamt up, or too low for that matter, right? Advertising your pricing and staging once I have evaluated your home thoroughly against the market. What are we doing there?
Helping them sell it.
Right. On pricing, on staging, right? If you go through the MLS and you look at pictures, right? Brayden and I were doing this yesterday. And the difference between homes that are staged and aren't, right? I mean, it's incredible,
And
right?
the
So
professional pictures versus unprofessional,
Right,
bad,
right.
and yeah.
getting the wide angles instead of these little weird, hallway shots or whatever. I'm a firm believer of staging if they are able to do it. Now, they don't have to go out and get a professional stager and all that, but it's decluttering, right? Decluttering the house. Just, tell them, have you been through a model house at one of the developments? And they usually will say, oh yeah, we checked them out. So that's what you want your house to look like. Now, I understand I'm not telling you to go out and get a storage unit and stuff like that, but if they box all the stuff, because they're going to move anyway, and put it like in the garage or something, right? People just kind of look in the garage and they're out of there. But the rest of the home should be like a model, right?
And when you say if they can do it, you mean so you're suggesting they pay for it?
There are professional stagers, yes. But some people don't have the financial means to do that, right? Because those can get up in the few thousand.
But that's not part of your marketing that you offer to stage it.
It-
You arrange it and you pay for it.
If it is part of your model,
So
then
depending on the price of the house, that might
Sure.
determine your decision to do it or not do it.
Sure. And sometimes you can just help them out,
Yeah.
right? And say, okay, these
Yeah.
are the things you should get rid of, right? All these paintings, or all these family pictures.
Yeah.
Pull those off, right? You can leave one up there, and so forth and
Then
so
you
on, right?
paint the wall, though.
You're right. Decluttering the area, decluttering the kitchen, right? Everybody has their appliances all out. Get rid of those. Put them, in storage or in the cabinets or something like that. That helps people out a lot, and it will sell their home quicker, and usually for a little bit more too, just by doing that.
Sure.
Implementing a comprehensive marketing plan to expose your house for buyers through as many channels as possible. So you'll want to have that list, right? Your marketing plan. I say list, but it's your marketing plan of where is it going to be advertised, right? Are you going to put it in the magazine? Are you going to put it in the Maui News, right? And why aren't you if you're not, right? They have to be told why those things are not effective anymore, right? Why internet? And so they have stats on that you can put a slide in your presentation, right? Those are the kind of slides that are helpful. You were asking about earlier. 96% of home buyers find their properties online. Okay, well, why am I going to advertise in the Maui News if they're all finding it online, right? And then we're connected through our MLS through like 300 websites, right? So I'm going to advertise on 300 websites for you, right? Sounds impressive. All you're doing is hitting the button, and it automatically does that.
And that happens when you put it on MLS.
Correct.
And does Keller Williams do anything else? I mean, once we turn a listing into Keller Williams, do they put it anywhere else?
It does go. It does. You have your website, right? Which we pay for the IDX feed, so people can go to your website and it's actually worth something because they can search the MLS and right on your website.
Mm-hmm.
What about
Right.
the Zillow connection? You guys are preferred vendor for Zillow, so
And that's a
is
paid.
that valuable?
It could be because people go there,
It
right?
seems like it would be.
Yeah, and
Is
so
that-
they're gonna Zillow's gonna hustle you to advertise with them and all that. It automatically goes there.
Right, but
Right.
I thought the Keller Williams was a preferred vendor, if it's vendor, for Zillow.
They
If
supposedly put your lead
Right,
name
they're
as
supposed-
listing agent only, and nobody else is
Right,
on that
that's supposed to
page.
be a thing, right? So
And it's
I don't
not.
know if that's a benefit for the seller so much. I mean, it's definitely a benefit for you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But they just want exposure to their property, right? So you want to mention that it's going to be on there, definitely,
Yeah.
and it's in a preferred state, right?
Are we in the listing presentation or flyer? I'm in like.
We're in Guide to Selling Your Home.
Let's see,
It's all about you.
yeah, let's see.
It's right after the your like picture and all that.
Yeah, down.
This one?
Mhm.
See this one?
Yeah, this one.
Oh, there's a.
And
Was
then
it updated?
Below we're in, we in what we deliver, or it's
Yeah.
all about you now?
What we do is where we
It's
are.
under. It's all about you. I will help you buy.
What?
Yours might be a little different than mine
It is a
too,
little
but
different.
Yeah,
it is, yeah.
It's called What We Deliver.
Okay. Basically the same stuff inside. So coordinating home showing process with the family's needs in mind, right? Talk to them about that. When can we show it? Can we show it at a moment's notice?
Mm-hmm.
Do you need a 24-hour? Because you want to make sure that the home is in the best presentable condition,
Sure.
right? So what does that look like for you, family, seller, and time frame wise, right? Setting them up for success for that. Presenting all offers and advising you of the terms and conditions contained within. How would you like to do that, right? Personally, I think it's best to go in person, right? When you're negotiating stuff, you want to be next to them if you can. Like if they're in the mainland, well, you can't do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if they're here, you should go to them and negotiate that deal. Body language, voice inflection, all that stuff is part of the negotiation with them, right? When you show them the offer to the seller and they're doing this and pushing the paper away from you, it's very hard to see that when you're on the phone, right? So I always recommend to go in front of them. Now, when you're doing addendum, stuff like that, you probably don't need to, right? But at the initial, with the offer, and maybe even the counter offer, you don't have to. But I recommend even the counter offer because that's where you can make the deal, right? right?
Mhm.
Very hard to, over the phone to feel them out, ask them the real questions, seeing their
Mhm.
expressions and stuff, right? So I'd always try to go for the offer, the counter offer in person. Negotiate on your behalf for the best offer. So you're going to talk to them, right? And what are you going to talk to them about?
You're gonna say, well, well, you'd show them the comps and say why an offer is too low or why you think it's a reasonable offer. and
Sure.
things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Good.
So you do offer your opinion.
Right. You don't want to give them a dollar amount, specific dollar amount, right? But you can give them the range, right? Well, homes in your area have sold in this
Mhm.
price range,
Mhm.
right? And that sort of thing, right? You don't want to say, yep, $7.99 is the price you should take, because you'll always be wrong, right? If you give a price, but the price range is fine. And
Mhm.
comps are a good way to show them, right?
Mhm.
Like, you're screaming inside, going like, "You guys should sign this. This is the best deal," right?
Yeah.
Scheduling and coordinating completion of contingencies and inspections and monitoring the buyer's loan process. What are we doing there? What is that keeping them?
Well, that's at the same time. We have different stuff than you.
Okay,
Yeah, we're trying to figure out what you just said.
Yeah, I'm trying to find.
Yeah.
that's keeping them informed, right? Keeping them informed through the whole process. The worst thing is sellers don't like silence. Even if you call them to say there's no changes, everything's fine, right? What I usually try to do is tell them, okay, once a week I'll give you an update,
Mhm.
right, on the listing side. If not, this is prior to contract, right? Just let them know, okay, we had a couple showings, 5 people viewed it or 100 people viewed it online and so on and so forth. It's connecting, right? Keep touching them. When they hear silence, that's when they get all, ooh, right?
Where do you get the online stats when you pull, like, how many people viewed your stuff?
You can look at that in the MLS,
Oh.
yeah, and there's certain view,
The hit count.
yeah, hit count.
Gotcha.
And then you can
Hit
see
count.
the agents hits and the public hits, right? That's a good stat.
Yeah.
I love to tell the sellers that one, because it's good for you, good for them, right? You kind of keep track of what's going on.
Do you put it on Caravan?
Mm-hmm,
We haven't talked about that at all.
okay,
Okay.
we
You
can
have
talk
to-
about that.
You have to, it's in the RAM site right there, and you can apply your listing for
I
Caravan.
saw that, but we just have never discussed in here about this being part of a presentation or
Sure.
what to expect.
And-
I mean, there's gonna be a sign in your yard and,
Right.
what are your showing availabilities and caravans?
Right, and that's all
Information.
part of that thing,
Uh-huh.
right? So do you want us to put it on Caravan? We recommend that you do, and then you gotta explain what it is, right?
Okay.
All the brokers are gonna show up and look through the place. It's all new properties, so you'll be part of that group too.
And are they advised not to be there for that?
You never want the seller there for any of it.
Never.
No showings, no nothing. Yeah,
Not for showings either.
yeah, definitely get them out of there for showings. Because buyers can't be themselves there,
Yeah.
right? Because the
Yeah.
seller's there looming over them. So that's where you want to be the expert on the property. So when you go in for the listing you got to ask them all these different things, right? And some stuff you might forget or not, forget to ask them. But as you do showings, you're going to get more knowledgeable about the property and things that people care about, right? And as you get more seasoned as an agent, you'll remember the questions to ask them. Right? Coordinating and supervising the preparation of all real estate closing docs, right? You can guide them through the escrow process. During the entire listing from start to finish, always representing their best interest, right? It's all about them, all about them. Make sure you remember that. Make sure you remember who you represent too, right? Quickest way to make your client mad is advocating for the other side, right? You don't work for the other side, always advocate for your person. Don't ever say, oh, the person won't take that, right? Or they won't accept that price, or they won't do this, or they won't do that. When you're talking about if you're representing the buyer or the seller, right? You represent them. So you tell them whatever you need to make sure that they know that you're representing them. Okay, I am on page 17. Get ready to list. we're still in the guide to selling your home. Get ready to list is what will it sell for?
That one's on here.
Pardon?
That slide is on here.
Okay, good.
What's it called?
We're gonna cover the CMA in a different session, okay? Just to let you know.
Okay,
So let's go down this. What will what will it sell for? Market tells us how much the home is worth. I would advise you on pricing after my thorough analysis of your property compared to the market, and with the recommendations, you will make the final decision. You, meaning the seller, will make the final decision, okay? They might say, oh, should I get an appraisal first, right? Answer is no, because the CMA is basically the appraisal, right? That's, if you do a good one, it should match the neighborhood, or the other like kind, if you will.
so you don't think an appraisal is beneficial?
No, and it's expensive, right? Because the buyer's gonna have to get an appraisal anyway, and your CMA should guide that price. Yeah.
Survey.
Hmm?
Survey, baby.
Survey, yeah, survey's good, especially if you see a lot of old rock walls and stuff like that, right?
For the seller pays for the survey.
And
Correct.
just get it done ahead of time, they're gonna have to do it anyway.
Yeah, and you can
So it's
avoid
nice
all
to know
the
if there's any
issues.
issues that need to be.
And
considered.
surveys are taking kind of long now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a 3 week or more turnaround time for those. Okay, so 5 factors affecting the value of your property. Recent sales, right? Comparable homes in the area that have recently sold are how buyers and their agents will determine the fair market value of your home. So we're going back to the CMA. Make sure you do a good one that reflects their property. Now, in some locations, it's very difficult, right, to do a CMA because they're not the same. So you have to do your best in that, but try to stay in the area, try to stay in the complex if you can, right? Location is one of the most important factors determining the value of property. Now, if they're not on the ocean and there's oceanfront ones that maybe they pulled up in Zillow that they're quoting the price, of course that's going to be way different, right? Those are not like-kind properties.
But Zillow in general, at least they were, coming in quite a bit lower than our actual market. So you may need to address that, I would think.
Definitely. You have to address Zillow and all those other marketing websites, right?
Yeah,
Those are not MLS websites. They don't pull the right data out of MLS. They don't get the solds, right? So they're doing Zestimates on properties that are active. They're dreams,